We see it everywhere, in sweets, in shops, in bottles. But we rarely stop to think where it really comes from. Kaju. Today, it feels inseparable from Goa, but it wasn't always like this. Its story goes back centuries. To understand that, we need to go back.
Before the arrival of the Portuguese in Goa, there was no Kaju in Goa. There was no cashew. So now the question is, from where did this cashew arrive in Goa or in India for that matter? We know of so many things that the horticultural products that the Portuguese introduced in Goa and in India. For example, the potato is a foreigner in our country. The Portuguese had introduced it in India. The soil was not conducive for potato cultivation in Goa, so in Goa it was not there. Then papayas they brought, pineapples they brought, tomato they brought, and one very popular item that they brought is the cashew, which we Goans call it Kaju. Now we have adopted the same name as Kaju from the Tupi tribes of Brazil, because Brazil was a colony of the Portuguese since 1500. In 1500, the Portuguese, led by Pedro Cabral Alvarez, he went to Brazil, that is in South American continent, and there among the Tupi tribes he found a unique fruit which the Tupi tribes used to call as Kaju. And the beauty of this is the linguistic heritage is we have still call it as Kaju. So the Kaju has an interesting journey from being a foreigner and now almost our signature fruit. So Kaju was introduced by the Portuguese in the year 1563. There are some who say 1573 and there are some who say it was introduced in 1598. But whatever it is, the cashew was introduced in Goa in the 16th century by the Jesuit missionaries. Now that point needs to be noted that the Jesuit missionaries have introduced a number of horticultural products in India, including the Kaju, and the name continued as Kaju. And the popular thing that we know that why the Portuguese introduced Kaju in Goa was that it was because of soil erosion. That is the popular story that we know. So thus the history of Kaju dates back to the 16th century, and today it is part of our Goan landscape, it is part of our Goan horticultural product, and today we the souvenir, the Goan souvenir. Now whenever you want to go to Bombay or to meet your friends somewhere outside Goa, or when your friends come to, we serve them Kaju nuts or cashew nuts we carry outside. They have become souvenirs of Goa. And the Feni, of course, is the signature heritage drink of Goa.
But that's not the only way people look at it. Along the coast, another possibility comes up.
The main reason for which the Kaju was brought differs. There are scholars, there are researchers who mention that the Kaju was brought to Goa mainly for soil protection of the soil from erosion. So conserving soil might be one reason, but this was brought by the missionary. So they brought it and they were not aware about utility value of the Kaju sapling. So Goan people in due course of the time realized that this Kaju has multiple uses. Being not having the high nutritional value, they realized that the nut of the Kaju gives them liquid paint. So this liquid paint, they realized that it could be used for their boats. And when the local people, especially the fishermen in Goa, they were intelligent. You know, the Goan people, I am not praising the Goan merely, because these people know they were always using try and error method. So they realized that if they want that boat inside the water to live long, then there is need of the paint that could help them to get the protection from water repellent, then anti-corrosive. So these are the qualities which this liquid paint was meeting. So that is why they were using it. And when the Portuguese realized this secret from the local, they decided to use it on a massive scale. And during the 16th century, the Portuguese were naval power. They wanted boat. And in Goa, if you look at any Chodan, Diwar, these are the islands where the fisherman community were expert in shipbuilding. So along with their engineer, they make use of this paint obtained from the cashew nut to apply to their boat, and boat were efficiently used by them. So this is the reason why in due course of the time the cashew became one of the important crop in Goa.
Whether that was the reason or just a possibility, we may never know for sure. But step into a cashew orchard today and the picture feels different.
आता आमची प्रॉपर्टी म्हटली तर जाल्यार ही प्रॉपर्टी म्हज्या बाबा कडेन आशिल्ली आनी बाबा आमचो शेतकरी असल्या कारणान ताका खूब हेज्या ओड असल्या कामाची जावं ह्या काजू बिजू आसली. तर त्या वेळार हांगासर बाबा आमचो म्हाज्या म्हायती प्रमाणे म्हणजे हांवें पळयला बाबाक म्हाज्या की जेवप केन्ना 12-1 जेवप आनी 12 जेवन हांगा न्हिदप. कित्याक घरा कडेन न्हिदलो जाल्यार उरलो जाल्यार हांगासर धांदल जातली म्हणून बाबा आपलो हे पुजोवपाचो हें जातलो आनी कितें जातलें म्हणून तो येतालो आनी हांगा न्हिदतालो. न्हिदल्या नंतर मागीर समज 2 अडेजांक उठत मागीर ते पुजप आनी मागीर जे पळय आमचे कामगार आसताले म्हणजे थोडे लोक आसताले आमचे शेजारी हांगासरले त्या वेळार व्हडलेशे हे नासले न्ही आमचे शेजारी येताले म्हणजे तांकां एम्प्लॉय केल्ले आसताले म्हणजे समज एक दिसावळो कितें आसा त्या प्रमाणे ते येवन ते हेल्प करताले. तो आमी सांजच्या वेळार पाटलो घेवप नाल्यार एक भालदी घेवप आनी एक कांटो आसतालो तो आदी काडणीचो कांटो आसतालो मागीर आतां आमी हेजो कांटो म्हणजे हे मारून किळो मारून तशें काटी करपाक हे करपाक लागले ते मारप आनी ते हितून घालप अशें करून आमी काजू करून एकी कडेन एक खंयसर तरी हें दवरप कितें टॉस्ट व्हडलें बकेट व्हडली हे आमचे म्हणटा ते एक माने आसतालो तो हाडून हांगासर हें करप वचप तळमेर आनी मागीर 5 सुमार अशें सगळें हें जालें मागीर बसप सगळ्यांनी जितले लोक आहा पळय 5 जाण तेंच्या मागीर बियो काडप. एक्चुली काजू चोरपाक स्टार्ट जाता सप्टेंबर पावस हे जाता सोंपता जाल्यार सप्टेंबर ऑक्टोबरांतल्यान काज पाल्योंक लागता. पाल्याली काज म्हणटूच मागीर एक 15-22 दिसांनी ताका मोहर येवपाक लागता. तो मागीर मोहर येयल्या नंतर नोव्हेंबर डिसेंबरान सुमार ताका इल्ले वो येता जून जावपाक लागता ते हे मोहर म्हणटा तो आनी मागीर काज लागपाक स्टार्ट जाता कळ्ळें तुमकां. आनी फेब्रुवारी सुद्दां डेफिनेट एंड ऑफ हे जानेवारी जावं फेब्रुवारी फर्स्ट वीक हांवें फर्स्ट वीक सुद्दां भाटी काडलेली आसा. दिसाक आमी त्या वेळार 3 भाटयो काड इतलो रोस जातालो आनी 3 भाटयो काडून रोस सोंपनासलो इतलो रोस जातालो आमकां खूब. तर ह्या 2-3 वर्सांक हांव पळयता की पीक सामकें कमी जालां. 20 क्विंटल जाताल्यो पळय थंयसर आतां तर 4 क्विंटल जाल्यो. 20-40 न्ही 20% 25% पीक जाला.
Yields are lower and the effort is higher. What happens next is something we rarely see because this one fruit takes 2 very different paths. The nut goes through heat and smoke before it reaches us, and the fruit becomes Feni. Same origin, completely different outcomes. Over time, Kaju moved beyond the land. It became an industry and a name people recognize.
Business was started by my great-grandfather more than 100 years back. My grandfather did the first export in the year 1928 and that time the major part of our production was in exports. It was only in 1965 we started retailing. We were the first players in the country to come up with a consumer pack, a branded, and we started marketing branded cashews to both the locals as well as the tourists coming to the state of Goa. So consistently we have supplied quality cashews to our customers over the last 60 years, and without much marketing. We started marketing only last 5-6 years back, but purely on word of mouth. Zantye's is now recognized as one of the most popular brands in cashew, not only in Goa but around the world also. So what has happened in the cashew industry was last 20 years back there were more than 40 cashew industries in Goa. A lot of them could not survive because the new generation didn't want to get into this business. Some people were not able to market their product. So fortunately or unfortunately, if you say, the factories which are processing Goan cashews and selling in Goa, only 1 or 2 have survived. Now if you go around Goa and visit marketplaces, most of them are non-Goans who are selling cashews to Goans as well as the tourists coming to Goa. And none of them are having or owning a processing unit, both either in Goa or outside Goa. They are just traders. So what they ideally do is purchase cashews and they sell cashews to customers. The mindset is profiteering. They are not worried about Goa's brand image or providing the best quality product to the customers. So they started 15-20 years back by selling cheap cashews. So the cheap cashews came from Africa and they sold it as Goan cashew. Competition for them grew. Now if you go to Kalangut, there are more than 120-150 retail outlets in Kalangut. So they started competing with each other, and hence they had to resort to illegal trade. When I say illegal trade, they started playing around with the quality. Cashew has different grades. So one kind of illegality they started doing was selling less grammage per packet. So if you pick up their cashews of 500 grams, inside there will be only 400 grams. Or they started mixing substandard products. They were packing in such a way they used to pack rejected material inside, which was covered by good quality cashews, and they started retailing. Forget selling Goan cashews, they started all these malpractices which is against the law. This has grown. We stuck to what we are doing best. People bought their products on trial basis and they were cheated. So they had to come to us. Initially we got this, that, oh, this person is selling much cheaper, how is it possible? But as they were, through their experiences, they realized that you have to trust a brand, and fortunately we were there. We always supplied good quality Goan cashews at a reasonable price to the customers.
A legacy built over generations, but with scale comes its own challenges. The journey of Kaju has changed from local produce to something far wider, and somewhere along the way things feel different. But in the end, it still begins the same way. A fruit on a tree in Goan soil. Kaju has come a long way, and yet its roots remain here.